Suir Valley Ventures is a venture capital fund that invests in early stage software companies in three key areas. The first area is augmented reality and virtual reality technology. The second area is the Internet of Things. And the third area is certain aspects of fintech. So as an early investor, we ideally are the first institutional investor into a company. We're looking for companies that have a team already, have a product, have the product in the market and have some initial market validation, and looking forward can see up to about £500,000 in revenue over the next 12 months. So our goal then is to invest capital, to invest know-how, and to bring our network to bear to help that company go from an early stage company with a market validation to a repeatable proposition and then scaled into a large software company. Well, we see AR and VR, for example, as a massive market opportunity. As a venture capital firm that invests in seed companies or early stage companies, our investment horizon is over 5 years for initial investments and then 5 years to help the companies scale and exit. And if you look over the next 5 years in AR and VR in particular, you're going from a very early stage market, maybe with a total market size of $2 or $3 billion, to over a 5-year period, market size of over $100 billion. So really rapid growth, exponential growth in this space. And so what that does is it creates a tailwind behind these early stage companies, and it gives them an opportunity to grow with the market and have very rapid growth as well. And those are the perfect types of companies for venture capital investment. The VR already has had considerable success. You might have seen AR being launched with Apple's iPhone X, but there's already really interesting AR smart glass products, which are kind of like the glasses I have on, and that market is going to really develop over a 5-year time horizon as well. And in 5 to 7 years' time, we're all going to be going around with glasses that can show me digital information as I'm going through my daily life and work. All of these, and AR and VR in particular, are going to have a profound impact on our lives as consumers, our lives in the enterprise, and also society at large. And I think it's going to have a profoundly positive impact. One of the VR companies that we've invested in, for example, is really about bringing VR education to students and also to enterprises as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. On the IoT side, the Internet of Things is kind of an umbrella term for some really radical changes that are going on in society right now. Really, one of the ways of looking at this is what comes post the iPhone and Android, the phones we use. Smart Glass AR is a good example of that. VR is a good example of it. And also in the IoT space, IoT is really about sensors, temperature sensors or humidity sensors, for example, being connected to IT systems to increase productivity. So examples of this would be sensors in farmland to increase the productivity of crop production, sensors in buildings to increase their energy efficiency, sensors in cities to improve management of traffic. So these changes have already started but are now rapidly accelerating, and we see the next 5 years in particular as a time when IoT is going to really break out on the software side, and there's a huge opportunity for IoT software companies. And then fintech or financial technologies, we've already started to see major companies in this space, particularly in the payment space. And we're now looking at a whole series of advanced areas at the frontier of fintech, for example, foreign exchange or blockchain technologies that will have massive growth opportunities as well. So in all of those three sectors, the key thing about venture capital is we want to invest in early stage in companies and then accelerate their growth, really scale up their growth. And the best place to find those companies are in high growth markets. And those three markets, AR, VR, IoT and Fintech, are now all poised for dramatic growth. And the companies that we will invest in will benefit from that growth. Well, one of the joys of working in this business is meeting fantastic entrepreneurs and investing in amazing companies that are going to create profound positive changes in society. A good example of that is we've invested in a company called Immersive Virtual Reality Education Limited, IVRE. And what IVRE does is they've got an education, a virtual reality education platform. And there's two sides to that. The first side is to make it easy for educators and enterprises to create VR content. And then the second part of it is enabling people to come in on the platform and get that educational experience in a kind of a multi-user environment. They're one of the best known companies in the VR space, and their platform is really starting to get massive adoption now. As part of driving that adoption, they've also created what they call signature experiences to demonstrate the power of the platform. And the first one of those has won 5 awards, and it's called the Apollo 11 VR experience. And it's this experience where you sit in the Apollo 11 rocket to blast off and go to the moon. You go all the way to the moon, you watch Neil Armstrong putting his first steps on the moon, and then you blast off and come home. And you really feel like you're there. And that's been very widely received, positively received. And if you go to YouTube, there's many people who've recorded themselves in the experience. And one person stands to mind who came out of it and said, "Boy, all education should be like that." And I think that's what immersive VR education are doing. Another good example is we've invested in an Internet of Things business, which helps people build these kind of next generation IoT applications. So what they do is they help businesses bring together the sensors, the data from the sensors, and to be able to build applications that run in the cloud, leveraging that sensor data. So again, whether you're a hobbyist on a Raspberry Pi, for example, or whether you're a Fortune 5000 company that's deploying IoT technologies for logistics, this is a platform that helps you build your IoT applications faster, more cheaply, and more performant than anything else out there. So we're really thrilled to invest in this company, which is called WIA, W-I-A. Another good example is a company called Provision. And Provision are in the fleet management space, and they're doing the next generation of telematics, which they call cameramatics. And so the current fleet management space is really focused on tracking and managing the location of lorries or trucks, for example. They're going further by installing cameras, a range of cameras in the trucks, which aids with the safety of the trucks themselves, and also if there are any problems, aids with insurance claims and things like that as well. And they're going, this is Mervyn O'Callaghan and his team, fantastic team, third startup they've done in this space. Company's going gangbusters, and also has a very positive social outcome as well, which is reduced accidents. And the final company I'd mention is a company called Wardux. So whilst our fund is more focused on enterprise AR and VR, certainly this year we felt there was an opportunity to invest in an early stage gaming studio and a virtual reality and augmented reality gaming studio. And we invested in Nikki Lannon, fantastic founder. She came out of Facebook, and her experience in Facebook was scaling, helping gaming companies scale using the Facebook platform. And now she's left Facebook to run her own organization and has brought some fantastic new IP to the market, and the company's doing fantastic. In addition to that, we were very active in terms of building a pipeline and origination, and we're looking at a whole range of really amazing new technologies and new deals in the AR and VR space, IoT, and also we're looking at some really fantastic new fintech deals as well.